So I reported that private equity is going to help fund a potential bid by David Ellison of Skydance to buy Warner Bros. Discovery, which is a huge, as you know, a huge media company. It's one of the best right now. It has the best studio, Warner Brothers, with huge hits. The third largest streaming service. I think it's first. It's Netflix. It's Amazon. It's HBO Max. It's run by a guy named David Zaslav, a longtime media CEO. I know him well, and it's doing very well right now. And a month ago, it was leaked that David Ellison, Larry Ellison's son, so he's got money, runs his independent studio that just bought Paramount for $8 billion. He just plunked out $8 billion for that. He just spent another $150 million to buy Bari, to get Bari Weiss to come over.
Let's talk about that.
But he spent that money, and now he wants to go after Warner Brothers, which would be a $60 billion deal. So here's what I did. I reported, and it's all true, that he's seeking private equity money to do it. And Apollo, they're in talks with Apollo. I think people at Blackstone are thinking about it, although they're kind of negative at this point, but they might do it later. Stock pops on the news. I mean, like up $3. Warner Bros. Discovery on the headline when it first broke, and then it shoots all the way down again as they read past the third paragraph and realized that one of the reasons why they're looking for outside money is that maybe Larry Ellison, who was thought to be sugar daddy, was going to was not going to sell $60 billion of his Oracle stock to fund the WBD purchase. So it was really a kind of crazy day. And this is a crazy company. I mean, I'm just going to say this. Whether David Ellison, and by the way, he's a good producer. I think we don't know is whether he's a good businessman. Paramount was not the greatest media company to buy. It was there, but it's middling studio, old legacy assets like CBS. I mean, I guess you got football, but you got like a horrendous news division. That's not horrendous, but very leftist news division. It's bringing a lot of unwanted attention. Colbert, which they lose $40 million on. And so he goes out, and to add to this, he spent not only does he look to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, which by the way owns CNN, so you can see how he wants to merge CNN with CBS. He goes and he buys the Free Press, which is a right of center news site that's run by a journalist named Bari Weiss, who it's a woman, Bari, who worked for a time at the Journal on the editorial page, worked on the editorial page of the Times. Not known as a huge journalist, but smart. She's like a thinker. She did create a good product, but he spent $150 million on this thing, which produces revenues of $15 million.
And she's very brave, though. You have to hand it to her. She was very brave doing what she did, not knowing what she was at the Times. Well, you got to hand it to her. She was very brave to do what she did. She staked out her own thing.
Yeah.
She left what was a predictable life for her and made a new one. And my hat's off to people like that, because she took a lot of flack when she left. She did.
She did. Others did as well, and didn't cash out at $150 million. Now,
but she took the risk, Charlie. I mean, come on. You can't fault her for that.
I'm not faulting her. I'm just saying that this thing is not worth $150 million. All right, let's just get it.
What? So what?
It's not. No, but it makes it. Listen, the story's less about her. It's about David Ellison.
Well, she felt that she's worth $150 million because
she's not.
But wait a minute.
She's not.
Put her here at CBS. You don't know, by the way, if that's $150 million cash settlement or that's $150 million, $1 million a time for 150 years. You don't know that.
Listen, you're right. And by the way, there's a cash out, there's a cash payment, there's performance goals and stuff.
All that. So maybe the sum total is if she knocks it out of the park, it's $150 million, but not today. So,
but Bob, she's never run a TV network. Okay, she doesn't know. I mean, she's a smart person. With all due respect, how much does it really take to tell some woke producer at 60 Minutes, you know what? If you cut out Kamala Harris's word salad, that's not good journalism.
But I think it's different. I think, and look, this is your neck of the woods, okay, not mine. So I'm just going to say one thing. She took the risk of being canceled. I think that's fair. But I think she did it in a way that is rare. She went out and founded her own company with a lot of headwind, not easy doing what she did. And now, she's the editor-in-chief of CBS News. I mean, that's a pretty incredible story.
But that's the whole thing. I mean, when I think about this, I think, more power to her. I'm a viewer. I read the Free Press, and I have her, her podcast. I listen to it all the time, honestly. I really enjoy it. It's just not worth 150 million. It's not by any stretch of the imagination. And, it makes me think that David Ellison is just not ready for prime time. And it's sort of a tell on this Warner Brothers Discovery bid. I mean, it's the weirdest thing. A month ago, someone leaks out that he's gonna do this, pay all cash, by the way, for the whole thing. This is, by the way, it's in the process, this company, of dividing into two: a streaming and a studio, and the cable properties. And the streaming and the studio won't have any debt. The cable property will have minimal debt. The other half will. They're doing this because they want the growth area to basically maybe attract a suitor, maybe Netflix. But my point is that that thing gets leaked. Then they leak out that they're thinking of paying $20 to $22 a share, which David Zaslav over at one of his brothers Discovery is like, all right, tried $32 a share. And it's just the way this is handled, Bob, makes me think he's not ready for prime time.
Or maybe it's a little more sophisticated message. Maybe it's, hey, we want people to say what they think, and we're willing to way overpay because we think it's so underserved as a product that we're going to pick the person that we think can do that. And, that's their right to do that. If that's the price of honesty and you want to say, look, this is what we want, then.
By the way, I'm looking at it a little differently in the sense that the way this Warner Bros. Discovery deal, take Bari Weiss out of it, it makes me think that on top of the fact that he way overpaid for what he needs for her and what the business is worth, makes me think that this guy is just, he's just throwing a lot of money around. When I see that, I start thinking, listen, I know a lot of rich people, as you do. Jeff Bezos does not like throwing money at the Washington Post.
Well, he bought the Washington Post for a lot less.
Right. But then think about
I think it was $100 million. Well, you can fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure.
It was compared to what Elon bought to Twitter for, it was a lot less.
A lot less.
It wasn't $1 billion deal. But what I'm saying is, he's made it clear that he's just not going to spend money on this thing. And that's why the Post went through all that restructuring. And he's rich, and he's like almost as rich as Larios and David's father, not David. The balance sheet of Paramount Skydance right now has $2 billion in cash. They can't really fund these things.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, if you're a public company, which he is, you got to ask, why didn't they go private? They're a public company. They got Redbird backing them up. If you're a public company,
no, that's a good question.
Well, you should not be overspending for stuff. And it just, when you do, that's alarm bells in my view. And maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just saying that that's something that I look at as a veteran reporter.